We're live. Hopefully, make sure we get some audio. I have to run these tests because technology is just beyond me. So I'm trying to just figure that out. Someone jump in. Let me know if you can hear me. That'd be much appreciated, as always. We're just finding it on here, unless anyone is on. I dare say should all have volume. I'm going to double check. Let's make sure. Yes. There you go. Welcome, everybody, to the Sunday sessions. Tonight's tipple is American IPA. There you go. Fresh from Aldi. Banger. So, what have we got tonight? We have some notes, so I don't go off astray. This life stuff is really quite nerve-wracking. Honestly, like you're getting ready for it, and you're just like, oh, hope it all works, whatever, that sort of stuff. It's quite interesting. So we've got a few popping in already, which is nice. Good evening, everybody. Now, when I was doing the thumbnail for this, I nearly wrote the simple sessions, which probably is more appropriate, to be totally honest, and probably would get more views because the simple sessions is a good with the audio. Thank you. I need to change the latency on how fast the comments come up. It bugs me. But I saw how to do it, and then I can't find how to do it again. But hang on. Anyway, yeah. So I nearly called it the simple sessions, which is a big BMX competition over in Estonia, in Tallinn. And me and a friend, Matty Farlow, we went there 2014. Excuse me, simple session 14 it was. And I know I seem to be going off the subject from the thumbnail. We'll get to all that, don't worry. And we flew to Frankfurt, got off, and the airport was dead. It was like something out of 28 days later. There was just nobody anywhere. We were like, oh, what? This is weird. So we're all coming off our flight, and we're all just getting directed wherever our next flight, connecting flight was. And it was dead. And we got to this door, and these sort of big sliding doors, but that were frosted. And they opened up. Yeah, Dribs grew up with Matty. He did. These doors opened up. And this big American comes out. He's like, "Don't go in there, man. Don't go in there, man. It's all fucked up, man." Sorry for the swearing straight away. Should have put a warning on that one. Although it's not kid-friendly channel, so hey. But yeah, and this we're like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Don't go in there, man. Don't go in there." Like he's got his kids. He's like, "Come on!" They're picking them up by the scruff of their necks. Like, get out. And we're like, bloody Yanks, you know what I mean? So apologies to any. And we walked through the room, and there was people everywhere, like school classes and stuff. Kids sat all over the floor, people everywhere. The police, the army were handing out bottles of water. Turns out the airport was shut and it was on strike. So we were like, well, how are we going to get our next flight? So they drafted in the police to take over the airport and get people to their connecting flights. And then luckily a bit of charm from me and Matty managed to essentially chat up someone that worked there, who then showed us this sort of back entrance instead of going down all these escalators to get to where we're going. Now, Frankfurt Airport is huge. It's one of the biggest in Europe, and it literally is like 2 miles. I'm not going to call the trains. It's literally 2 miles from like where we were to where we had to go, because of the way you go down all these escalators. Yet you could get this lift downstairs, and then it was like a 20-minute walk, of which we had to run. So Matty's running, which was entertaining to say the least. So he's running along, and we got to the desk. Yeah, we're like 2 minutes before the flight take off. We're like, oh, like chuck the bags down there. Have we made it? And they're like, yeah, you've got plenty of time. The pilot's stuck in security. So, yeah, needless to say, we did get to the simple sessions, which was good. But tonight's is the Sunday sessions, not the simple sessions. So if you find yourself stumbling across this channel, now I'm not one to normally beg, but if you find yourself stumbling across this channel and you like what you see, then you know what to do. Hit the subscribe and all the thumbs up and all the usual stuff. I think I've said it. I don't like giving it that spiel. I'm not into that kind of style. I just do what I do. If you like it, you will. If you don't, you don't. But it's time to grow a little. So if you're liking what it is, go for it. Just gonna have a quick catch up. Good evening, everybody. There's a few people on, which is nice. Oh, look, my mum's chucking up some love hearts in her eyes. She obviously missed a part where I swore. So where shall we start tonight? What is happening? I'm going to chat about my love and hate relationship with Instagram. I'm going to chat about how you can make a few quid with photography. which obviously involves taking photos, but there's other ways. And what else have we got? I think we're going to start with. I'm going to start with Instagram. Let's just get the bad bit out of the way. All right. Now I use Instagram, as do most of you, and I can't stand it, quite frankly. It's so much, and I've touched on this before, and I don't know if I've done it on a live or just in other videos, and I'm not going to drag this out too much, but the bit I don't get, I don't know if anyone else has this problem, is I always get told who to go and follow. Not like, oh, your work's cool, go follow so-and-so, or go check out so-and-so, you might like him. No. Just go follow whatever. They even say please. So I quite often privately message them with just like, please, it'd be nice. And some respond, some don't, because I'm pretty convinced it's just bots. Because if you go on the original channel that left the post, there's no one there. Like, there's no followers, there's no nothing. It's just like a profile following one, no followers. And yet you click on the profile they've recommended you to go and look at, 15,000. It's like, yeah, they're going to promote my work, aren't they? Of course they are. Like, they give a damn. Better get out of Telford. Now they're going to promote that, are they? So yeah, that is one of the things that bugs me. And the other one, quite frankly, is just that they like enough. I know I've mentioned this, where they like enough things for you to then share it in your story, but they never follow you. Very rarely. And if they do, they bloody stop following you a week later. So why do I use Instagram? Purely because it's a very simple way to look at photos I take without any of the kind of Facebook adverts. Or on Facebook, I post all sorts. You know, I mean, I put my YouTube links, I put the odd family bits in, whatever. I've got a personal and a business, but I sort of put a lot. So to just go look at my photos there, you've then got to sort of go into the Facebook, find where the photos are. It's all a bit mumble jumble. Whereas Instagram, they're all very simply laid out. You can grid them, hold it, get a big picture, whatever. So as far as sending someone to look at my work, Instagram. I know you can do it on Flickr. I thought that was dead in its ass, to be frank, but apparently not. Apparently it's still good, and it's full resolution, which for us photographers, you know, we're buying all this gear and we're sort of busting our ass to go and get these nice photos, and then we're putting them on Instagram that takes them down to about 2.7 meg or something. It's ridiculous. It just destroys everything. Not quite as bad as Facebook, I don't think. I've just seen it all going. But yeah, it's a love-hate. You got it. I don't care about the likes on it, quite frankly. It's nice that you get them, bonus. You know what I mean? I don't get much interaction on Instagram, which is fine. The interaction I get, I basically just stick a middle finger up anyway, because they tell me who to go and follow. And that bugs me. So am I alone, or does anyone else get that? Maybe it's just me. So I'll tell you what, all right, I need some new gear. I seriously do need some new gear. I think the only way to get new gear is to downsize my house. So kids, you're out. I'm going to go and buy a flat. I think that would be the best way to do it. I'm just going to read down the third person comments. I suggested them to go. Yeah, good man. That's it. Maybe that's what we should do. We should just spam back, go and follow other people, like people that we want them to follow. But yeah, it bugs me. But yeah, I had a flat years back, actually, with a very, very previous girlfriend. And I got a horror story. Not actual ghosts, but it was horrifying for me. I had a hamster called Keefy George, which is the guy out of Chopper, not Mark Reed. Keefy George is his cellmate, who he kills. If you haven't seen Chopper, amazing film. Absolutely amazing. But I'm not going into that one. Anyway, so I had a hamster called Keefy George, and I had two cats called Ozzy and Maisie. All right. They were kittens. Obviously, all cats start as kittens, and these were kittens at the time. And I was asleep. I had a few beers and that. And then Charlotte, my ex, comes in. She's like, Chris, Keefy's on the window ledge. Now I'm living on the first story flat. I'm just like, don't worry about it. It's a cat. She's like, no, Keefy. I was like, shit. I jumped out of bed. I run to the kitchen. And he's got out of his cage. He's got out of the kitchen window and he's on the window ledge. So I'm there with like, well, it can't have been lettuce. I don't think hamsters eat lettuce. But I was there with something. I was like, Keefy, come here, mate. Come here, mate. And he sort of turned, looked at me on the ledge. Just bolted, just jumped off. I was like, no! It was like the opening scene of Cliffhanger. You know what I mean? When Stallone drops his wife. Yeah, it just fell, and I was like, no. So I run down, and he landed in some bark, and he was breathing, and I was like, oh, he might be all right. So I put him back in his little in a cage and kept him all soft and nice, and then he was dead. Horror story. So maybe I won't downgrade to a flat because I've got a very expensive cockapoo now. I don't want that out on the window ledge. So next one. money. In fact, I'm gonna have a drink. Hang on. Let's take a breather. Anyone got any questions? Because the live stuff does work better when people interact. Yeah, I can sit here and just wrap it on. Believe me, I can. But it's nice when there's a bit of interaction. So if anyone wants to know anything, fire away. Hasn't got to be photography. It's got to be clean now, all right? So, money. Now, I saw, in fact, I think it was the first North Borders video that I saw. Oh, I've turned on my device to start watching your stream. Oh, you missed one. Anyway, yes, I read that one in my head. I don't care. I'm going to read it in my head. You can all read the comments, all right? Anyway, look, now you've thrown me off. Yes, North Borders. I'm sure most of the photography side of who are watching watch North Borders. And one of the earliest videos I saw when I got introduced to his channel was how to make money. Okay, well, and a lot of people have done videos on it. So I tried this, and I'm just going to now relay how easy it is and how horrible it is. All right. So he said, just go into restaurants and cafes and whatever, into businesses and offer your services for photography. So I do. It's cringeworthy. It's really hard. You've just got to walk in and get shut down. Excuse me, I probably drinking beer and talking a lot. You just get shut down a lot. But if you don't mind being rejected, which I have been most of my life through one form or another. See, if I made this video previously, I'd have violins going and everything. It would make this so sad, like Puss in Boots and his hat. But it's you can make money from it. Literally, you can just go in for every 20 that say no, one might. Which then brings me back to the Instagram, because they'll be like, what sort of photography do you do? Now, I don't have a niche, as we all know. I have no genre that I stick to. I don't stick to anything. I think Kate's the longest thing I've stuck to be fair. Hope she's watching. So yeah, then I can go, well, here's my work. Here's the sort of style I do as far as edits and whatever. See you back on the Instagram, which is where it comes in, and they see middle fingers to people telling me to go follow. Obviously, the other way to make money through photography is sell it. Get it printed, which we all know. And if you don't, check out my last video. I get quite a lot printed. But anyone can get it printed. Anyone can go and get prints online and whatever and sell them. I find selling them on Facebook very, very hard. I raffle some. That does really well. But selling, really tricky because it's hard to take a photo of a photo. So my next step, once this whole COVID business, remember I've only been doing this 2 years, this sort of September, I've only been doing photography. So I'm far from any pro. My work is not amazing and it's priced accordingly. But I want to get into the bistros and the B&Bs and the stuff like that, so people can see it. Because once you see this stuff, on the acrylics and on nice big prints and whatever, it looks good. It's great quality, and I want to push that. But yeah, you've got to have the balls to just walk up to people, offer free work as well. That's another one. I'm just gonna read a few comments because I can see it moving. Hang on. Hold tight. What we got? You said you wanted some new gear. What would you replace, upgrade first? Oh, my wife's waving as well. That's nice. There we go. Oh, there you go. So, right, I'm going to answer Ben's. Lens. I think the camera I've got is more than capable of producing good photos. I already produce some pretty decent photos. I've got them big and they still look good. So it's not all down to the whole megapixel. I don't have to go full frame because I'm not doing weddings. Personally, I think that's what you need full frame for. Obviously, there's plenty of other perks, but it's good in low light, and I don't do a lot of low light. So I think the camera is good enough. Probably lens, ideally one of those sexy white ones with the red ring. That's what we're all after. That's what if we've got Canon, that's what we're all after. If we've got Nikon or someone else, I don't know what color their lenses are, just all black, I think. Maybe they've got some fancy ones. Tamron have got some nice gold bits on theirs. That's probably more than camera. I don't mind walking around vlogging on an 80D. It's a bit heavy, but I do it. It works. So, and I love the dual pixel and the focus and stuff because it's designed at video and vlogging as a camera. For the vlogging side of it, it's brilliant. GoPros are great, yes, but do I need a GoPro vlog? Don't know. Do I push the photography side and get new lenses, or do I push the vlogging side and get other stuff, to make my vlogging experience a bit easier or a bit smoother? But equally, that's then another expense that makes me no money and probably never will, whereas photography can. So lenses. Next, what we got? Let it coming in now, thick and fast. I never not. Just looked like it was moving. Lensible photo I won. Yeah, see Serenity drones. Drones? Yeah, drones. It is drones. Serenity drones entered into one of my Facebook raffles. He has a few times, and I think he's won twice as well. In all fairness, he won that one, but on it was in a frame, like an A3 print in a frame, which was good. So, but yeah, cheers for joining in. The raffle seems to have just suddenly kind of a bit weird. I put a couple on. I don't know if it's the algorithm of where Facebook's pushing it, or if people have just had enough and don't win, or what. I don't know. So I might just give them a bit of a rest for a little while. But we'll see. We'll see. Drone question mark. What does that mean? Oh, Mr. Mines is in. All right. I want to win this time. Yeah, well, I'll have to. You have to enter. I'll do a raffle. All right, there you go. I'm going to put a raffle on over the next couple of days. Go and check it out. It's literally like £2 a go or free for a fiver and 24 names. So it's not like I make a killing. I'm not ripping them off and doing crazy stuff. And the prints are good. Anyone who's won one will testify they are good. So yeah. So that to me is how you can make some money, etc., etc. I'm gonna have a drink. Gonna catch up. So Serenity also watched that video, going back a bit now in the chat. Serenity also watched that one when he first started. There we go. Seems we're all quite new. Who have we got on tonight? We've got 12 on and only 6 thumbs up. So what's going on? You must have missed the beginning where I was begging for thumbs up and subscribers. It's disgraceful. So I have a friend who, if my brother's still watching, will know. A guy called Travis. He used to be he was employed as our night porter when we were in Austria, snowboarding. But then he ended up being our doorman. He looked like a typical American surfer, but he was from Southend. So yeah, he had a silly Essex accent. And he now paints, and he does some awesome work. Like for a dude that just kind of self-taught himself and whatever, he does some really good stuff. And I saw one. He's got some dog portraits that he put on yesterday, and I messaged him and just said, "Oh, they're really cool. If you ever want any pictures of mine to paint for yourself, I don't want the painting back. Then let me know, and I'll just fire you over some emails, and you can take your pick and paint one." He was buzzing. We messaged each other, and he is now, excuse me, he is now going to do an oil painting of one of the reflection ones of mine, and credit where credit's due and whatever. But we're all nobodies, so it's not going to necessarily give anyone exposure that they're not going to get anyway. But it's really nice that he was really keen to do it, and I'll see how it looks in a painting form and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. 100% great prints. Yeah, thank you, Dan. They are indeed. Oops, there we go. Oh, up to 9, but now there's 13 people watching. So where's the rest? We can do this all night. I haven't got all night. Well, I haven't got much else to do, to be fair. Next up, I'm just looking at me points here. So yeah, you need to be the first live I'd have done. Didn't have any points. Didn't have nothing. Just sat there and rabbiting on. For the locals, i.e. West Midlands, I would like to do a shoot in Birmingham now that stuff is easing slightly. Okay. I'd like to get together, go there for sort of the 7-8 o'clock mark, so we get a bit of daylight, and then do it into the evening and get some night street photography and that kind of stuff. So if anyone from this area is keen, and anyone's watching us now or in the future, let me know. Get it on the A View to Meet group on the Facebook, and we'll sort something out, because I am up for that, because I haven't been to Birmingham taking photos yet. It terrifies me on one hand because it's dodgy as hell, and I'm scared I'm going to get my gear nicked. So the more, the better. The more people that can come along. Could we use some of our pictures in our videos? We would give you the credit, put it into the channel description. If you're not interested at all, no worries. We can talk about that. I know who Mystical Minds is. So yeah, we can have a chat. We'll send some PMs or whatever, however it works nowadays. I'll send you some PMs in the morning because then it'll be about 2 o'clock in the morning where you are. That'll be interesting. Right. 1, 2, 3. I only had 7 points. Look, that was it. I think we've done all the stories. I don't think there's much else. I don't know how long that's even been. 20 minutes. 20 minutes is decent. I don't think we've took the mick there. I think that's my plan for what's coming up. If you, like I say, if you're new, chuck a sub in if you like it. Check out some previous videos because my genres are crazy. I do all sorts, and that's what I like. I don't want to nail myself down to being this kind of photographer or doing it mundane. I don't want to do it as a day job because I think you lose the passion. And for me, it's the excitement and the fun of going out. I know that Steve came out and we went to a couple of videos back. We went to the Abbey and the wire wall and the smoke grenades and stuff like that. And he has not done the stuff like that. He does a lot of night stuff, but he hasn't tried that. And he also does a lot of it generally by himself. And now we've got this kind of group on the Facebook and people are meeting up in local areas. He was just like, this is crazy. And he's put posts on since saying, never when I picked up a camera did I think I'd be doing this. Some dude dressed up in a robe holding a bloody lens ball and smoke grenades and whatever. Like, it was nuts. It was cool, man. I'm game for that. Last time I went, I think it's driving around Brum. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking train because I got bothered to drive and park in Birmingham, and I live next to a train station, as we're probably all aware, because they come past about 100 times a day. I always said you were unique. You step out your box photography and push it to its limits. Yes, thank you, Adam. That is what I try and do. I copy ideas. We all copy. I see something and I'm like, that's cool, but what can I do? Can I put a twist on it? You know, I'm a chef by trade, as most know. And you can take a dish, I can copy it, or I can take it and think, all right, what can we do to just make that a bit better than the next one or different? It hasn't even got to be better. I don't do it to better or worse. I do it to be mine and to put my stamp on it and my mark. My editing is slightly different. I tend to over edit. That's just what I do. And I look back at some and I'm just like, yeah, I thought that was all right. It's rubbish. But that, again, it's all a learning curve anyway. Every time I slide a filter and I slide a bar, I'm just like, yeah, you learn something new and you adjust your style. So yeah, right. I think we're going to cut. Oh, look at that. 14 on now. That's a new record. Massive. I'm not going to try and say that word. Big shout out to all those. I can't say that word. Not after a beer. It's not my first beer. As most would probably know. I'm assuming what got me into photography. I've touched on this in the previous video, but I will go over it again. We're live, we're here chatting. I've got nothing else to chat about. It's all good. What got me into it? I can't remember a specific reason, but I do remember kind of the first time that I used a digital camera, so to speak. I've obviously used little click things, you know, obviously wind on when I was a kid, and ones like this. These little things, you know, I've used ones like that before, obviously. But a proper camera, so to speak. The first one was my father-in-law's HS20 Fujifilm. Bridge camera, does macro, and goes up to, I think, 800 mil, 600, 800 mil. Got another lens on it. I don't know, maybe it's not 800. It's big. And we were going to Barmouth, which is the closest beach to where we live, I think. As a bird would fly, pretty much the closest beach. And it's a bloody trek, I tell you. It's a lovely trek, but it's a trek. And because it had the zoom and we were going to the beach, I think we had kids then, or at least one. It was maybe even pre-children. But anyway, that was the sort of first defining moment I remember for that. And then I didn't really use it much at all. Now, I borrowed it for a while, but didn't really use it. And then something happened and I can't remember a specific thing that made me go, I need a camera. But my mum messaged me, oh, I've got a camera. Do you want to borrow it? And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll borrow it. So, or do you want to have it? It was an old Canon 350D. So I started with that as mine. Then I upgraded to a 500D and then I got the 80D. And now I'm looking to get a second one just so I've got a spare. even like a 2000D or possibly even just a cheap bridge, just so there's a spare camera in my pocket. Because those days that you're out or you're doing work for someone, it's all right if it's just a photo shoot, because you can always just say camera's broke, cards crashed, whatever. We can offer it. We can do another shoot, offer them a discount or a couple of prints or whatever. But you can do that again. A wedding, which I don't want to do and tend to do, but I do have a couple of friends ones, that I need that second camera. I can borrow one. I have got a good friend who will let me borrow one, but I might just get a little second, even if it's, like I say, a cheap bridge, so even I can vlog with it or something as well. So two birds, one stone. But yeah, there you go. That's kind of what got me into it, although there's no one thing that got me into it. It was just I wanted to keep busy with something, and bikes was hurting. Simple as that. I used to BMX and mountain bike and all sorts, and those started to cripple me, quite frankly. In fact, I rode a bike. I rode my lad's BMX round to work, which is probably about half a mile. And then I rode it back, of which it broke on the way back. I'm a bit heavy, I guess, and cranked it a bit hard. The back wheel slipped slightly, and then so I had to carry the bike back down the path to my house. The next day, I could barely walk. Inside of my thighs was just in bits. I was just like, I've only ridden around the corner. I could walk forever, but bloody hell, turns out I can't ride a bike. So hang on, I'm going to catch up what we got. So nice, got a party. You've got a party now, or I've got a party, who knows? And yes, definitely take loads of people and a dodgy walking around with gear. Yes, exactly. I agree with both, Adam. We'll have a light painting night one night. And yeah, Birmingham, I think we need to go mob heavy, to be honest. Just get the gangs out, carry the tripods in our hands, get ready for it. No, I mean, it's dodgy up that way, isn't it? A bridge camera is useful if you don't have the reach on your main camera. Yeah. What a bridge camera does is amazing. Like this HS20 is 8 megapixel. Like I say, the zoom goes from macro to something ridiculous. And it's not bad quality. You can take some good photos. Even now, using all the gear I use, I could pick that camera up and do the same shot with probably not that much difference. I've done a comparison way back in videos of the 80D versus a 500D, and everyone thinks it's all megapixel and it's all this, it's all that. It isn't. Even when you print big, it's really not all about that. In fact, I watched a video. One of who was it? It had Peter McKinnon in it, Daniel Schiffer in it, Schiffer or whatever his name is, and some woman, but it was none of their channels. And they done this Sony A7 III, which is a good camera, but only 12 megapixel, I believe, against a Fuji 110 megapixel, something like that. And they were doing computer screens, prints, and like massive prints, and they couldn't tell the difference. And the Sony won, I think, on all of them. They all said that's the better one, that's the 110 megapixel, and it wasn't. It was a Sony. So it's not all about that. And some of these old cameras still take a good photo. Certainly, if you just want to get into photography on a budget and have a bit of fun, go cheap. Go cheap, go secondhand. Because then if it breaks, you drop it. You don't mind so much. If I get that fancy white lens with the red ring, I'm going to care about that more than I care about my kids. Trust me. If a car comes along, I'll push the kid away. I won't. I'll be getting grief for this. I'll push someone else's kid. Another camera, news to me. Oh, it's all news to you, Kate. That's why my PayPal's mine. Hey, you don't know what goes in my PayPal. That's more grief later. I watch a lot of the slow-mo guys. Yes, they do some crazy stuff. I mean, they're shooting at 600 frames a second or something ridiculous. They really are. Mine does 60. I know the 90D does 120, I think, which is, 120 is good. That's without a doubt good. A lot of the Sonys are 120. But yeah, then slow-mo, what they use is to get like a bubble, a pin going into a bubble, the pin comes out before the bubble's popped. That sort of slow-mo is ridiculous. So, right. Anyway, we're going to hit the half an hour mark. I've got more thumbs up than I've got people watching. So that's a bonus. No, honestly, thanks everyone for coming in. I think these sessions are funny. They get me a bit nervous. They really do. I'm a confident person. I'm not sort of shy in a crowd or anything, even I'm sat in a room by myself. But it is because it's that whole live thing. It's very bizarre, very different. You can't just cut and edit it. Not that I edit any of my videos anyway. I'll leave all the crap in it. But that is all of it. That is me. That is the end of another Sunday Sessions. And until the next one, cheers, guys. Peace out. And now watch me try and end this bloody stream. Laters.